National champions, baby! Oh, I want that hat. I want that hat. Let's go!
Go Blue! National champions!
Let's go!
National champions! Heck yeah, baby! That's that Michigan football.
I don't want to show too much of the screen. ESPN will take down my video. 34-13, we win. Wow. Wow. 15-0. Unbelievable. I don't want to show too much of the screen because last time I got in big trouble with ESPN and for are they going to have a trophy ceremony or what? They've been taking their sweet time. Well, I guess if they do, I'll be back. They're on the stage. I got to get me a Michigan. Oh my gosh, they have a Michigan WWE Championship. I'm a huge wrestling fan. You guys will know that if you went back back in the beginning of my channel, but well, that's awesome. Let's go, Blake Corum. You could have given it to Edwards, too.
We knew we needed to set it early. The offensive line, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to the tight ends and receivers. Y'all really killed it today. Michigan, we did this for you.
21 rushes, 134 yards. Couple of touchdowns on the day for Blake the Great.
You guys had a singular focus all year. Now that this moment's been realized, how does it compare to what you imagined it would be? This is everything I imagined. When we said to come back, it was a lot of us. We said we had unfinished business.
Again, I'm sorry, I can't show much of the screen.
Business is finished.
Let's go. Business is finished. Mike Sanders still. Will Johnson. Look at that. Okay. Show that WWE title. That's awesome. I got to get me one of those.
You guys seem to have this prolific passing attack, and particularly Mike Pence, a great quarterback, but you had him off rhythm and uncomfortable all night. How did you go about doing that?
First of all, I just want to give credit to those guys. Those coaches over there, they did a great job all season in this game too. But like I said, preparation, Coach Maynard, Coach Herb, Coach Harbaugh, and have us in the right position this game.
Why has this team been able to be so good at avoiding distraction?
Just faith in God. We just thank God for who we are. He had our back all year. We had faith in him all year through all the ups and downs, and that's what got us here today.
Well, congratulations, Will Johnson, the defensive player of the game. And now let's talk, if I can find him, the head coach of the Wolverines, Jim Harbaugh. Hey, Jim, congratulations. I heard you tell how he rode that each one of these pieces of confetti had a story. What story are these confetti pieces telling right now?
There's a journey, a spiritual journey. Just took counsel from God, the Holy Spirit, this team, everybody, unanimous support for each other. I ain't got a question, but my dad does.
Jack Harbaugh, what's your question?
I have a question! A question, if I may! Who has it done?
The mic cut out.
What does this mean, Jim, to be able to share this? Those look good
Jim Harbaugh with the drip.
What does it mean to be able to share this with your dad, your brother John here at the Buisness Pinnacle for University in a place you love?
Yeah, I just want to say, to my two great loves, my family at work, this team, and my family at home, I love you. I love you. Congratulations.
Jim, when you think about what your mission was when you came back to Michigan, Michigan man, which said means so much to you, what does this mean for Michigan football big picture in the modern era, the first undisputed championship?
15-0. It's a spectacular team, and I would just say there are over 100 Michigan men that are on this team in uniform tonight, and what they've done for the last 372 days is amazing. They're champions, simply known as national champions. Pull it down! Pull it down! We did that! We did that!
Did it indeed, and for the victor, the spoils, Bill Hancock. Jim, you might want to stick around for this part. Bill Hancock, the executive director of the college football playoff.
Jim's just walking off.
Trophy to Michigan.
Thank you, Reese. Tonight, with this
Lift the trophy, Jim. Lift the trophy. I want to see him lift that dang trophy.
college football playoff. And I'm here tonight on behalf of the conferences and schools that administer the playoff to present the national championship trophy to Coach Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines.
There it is. They won't pull that down.
Yes!
Conquering heroes, victors valiant, Michigan.
2023 national champions, baby. I'm not really sure what to say. It's hard to come on here after what just went down and find the right words. I want to talk about the game a little bit. I mostly want to talk about the journey. Now, I'm not going to go fully in depth, but I'm going to make a separate video here pretty soon. It will probably be a while because it's going to take me some time to make, of kind of my journey as a Michigan football fan. But to give you a little teaser of that video, I have been a Michigan football fan now for 15 years. 2009, I believe it was. That's when I first started watching, 2009 Michigan football season. And at the time, it was just about winning, just winning games. Excuse me. Over time, as I got older, it became more. It became about beating Ohio State because Michigan hardly could ever do it. And up until the 2021 season, Michigan had only done it once since I started watching. That was the 2011 season. The 2021 season with Cade McNamara as the head coach, my goodness, with Cade McNamara as the quarterback, it was just about beating Ohio State. Well, we beat Ohio State that year. And ended up winning the Big Ten championship too, and then got into a playoff game against Georgia, a game we ended up losing. Because, I mean, let's be real, we were never going to win that game. And then 2022, we did it again. We beat Ohio State. We went 12-0 on the year. Won the Big Ten title for a second straight year. Went to the playoffs for a second straight year. And lost in the semifinals for a second straight year. This time to TCU in a game that was much closer. The shot of J.J. McCarthy after the TCU game last year, watching the purple confetti come down for TCU, and everyone being like, well, they'll be back. We'll be back. J.J. McCarthy and guys like Blake Corum coming back for his senior year, wanting to finish the story. Michigan beat Ohio State again, but at this point it wasn't about beating Ohio State. Great, we beat Ohio State. We did what we needed to do. We won another Big Ten title. Again, not what it's about. But for the third straight year, we're in the playoffs. Now, the last 2 years, we were the number 2 seed. This time we're the number 1 seed. We finally beat Alabama. And we make it to the national championship game. And we win that too. Completing the 15-0 season. There's a teaser for the next video. On to the game. It turns out all Michigan had to do, all they needed, was the points that they had in the first quarter alone to win this game. If Michigan hadn't scored another point for the rest of the game, they would have won this game 17-13 after the first quarter. The first couple of drives, Michigan scored off of I believe a 41-yard rush by Donovan Edwards. Donovan Edwards played great tonight. He was the best best running back in my opinion. Now they ended up giving Offensive Player of the Game to Blake Corum, which honestly you could have given it to either guy. They both had great days. Donovan Edwards with a 41-yarder. Washington gets the ball. They go down. They get into the red zone. We hold them. They kick a field goal. It's 7-3. Michigan gets the ball back. A few plays later, another long run for Donovan Edwards. 46 yards this time. Touchdown. All of a sudden, it's 14-3. Michigan gets the ball back again. We kick a field goal. It's 17-3. And that ends the first quarter. Great start. Absolutely fantastic start. After this point, Michigan offense can't get anything going for basically the entire second quarter. Can't do anything. Can't run, can't pass, can't do anything. Stalling out completely. Playing horrible. Horrible. Defense played great all game. Now, they didn't get 6 sacks like they did against Alabama. They didn't get, crazy big time, negative play drives. Washington was able to move the ball better than Alabama was by a long shot. Now, it didn't end up mattering. Overall, the defense for Michigan played great. They allowed some plays here and there, but with a team like Washington and a quarterback like Michael Penix Jr., who kudos to him. And another thing before I continue, shout out to Washington and their fans. The fans are great. I haven't had one negative interaction with a Washington fan. They're fantastic. Alabama fans are the complete opposite. Some Alabama fans, like the ones on YouTube are good, but like the YouTube channel Alabama fans are fine. It's the fans in the comment sections of like Facebook, Instagram. They're awful, man. I don't know what's wrong with them. A lot of them don't know how to spell. Anyways, I'm gonna stop. But yeah, shout out to Washington and the fans and the players and the coaches. Great season, and I think that Washington's definitely with Kalen DeBoer because he's a great head coach. They're here to stay. Just wasn't their year. And so it's like I said, it was 17-3. Couldn't get anything going. Right before the end of the second quarter, right before we go into halftime. I would say a few minutes before, Washington puts a decent drive together. They go down the field, and they score on 4th and goal from, I think, 3 or 4 yard line. Something Alabama couldn't do. It's 17-10 going into halftime. Third quarter comes around. We go out in the beginning of the third quarter where they have all the momentum. Washington does going into halftime because they got the score. They finally got going offensively. Washington fans are up in arms, ready to go. Michigan fans are a little bit more down. First play of the third quarter for Washington, picked off by Will Johnson. It was a bobbly catch, but he came down with it. Gave Michigan the ball at the Washington 30. Offense couldn't do anything. Stalls again. We kick a field goal. It's 20-10. Washington goes down the field on their next drive. Again, they can't score a touchdown, but they kick a field goal. It's 20-13. And it stays 20-13 basically from about 10 minutes in the third quarter all the way to about 8 minutes in the fourth quarter. Nothing is happening. These teams are just flipping the ball back and forth. Punt, 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 punt. Washington is moving and getting some positive plays. They are getting, they are doing some things right. They're doing a lot better than Michigan. Michigan can't move at all. Michigan's stalling out 3 and outs left and right. There was one drive where JJ ran the ball a couple of times, but other than that, just really nothing going. It's 8 minutes or so left in the fourth quarter. Michigan has the ball. They're still up 20-13. Have led the whole game. J.J. McCarthy goes back to pass, throws to Colston Loveland. It was a high pass. He comes down with it, takes it all the way from our own 30 to the Washington 30. All of a sudden, a couple plays later, and Michigan has scored. And we're up 27-13. Barely 27. It should have been 26-13 because our extra point kicker hit the left upright and bounced in. It was super weird, but it worked. It went in. He did get it. He's I don't know about that James Turner. He's iffy. He's done enough, obviously, and we haven't really needed him in clutch situations. We haven't needed him to win a game for us, but yeah, he was a little iffy this year, especially in the last couple of games. But it goes through. It's 27-13. Washington gets the ball. They can't do anything. They do get down the field. The clock is ticking. There's 4 minutes left in the game. They're down by 14 points. They gotta score. Throws on, I believe, 4th and 13, and it's picked off by Mikey Sanderstill, and he takes it back all the way down to the Washington 8-yard line. 2 plays later, Blake Corum runs in for a touchdown, giving him his second of the day. Extra point is good. It's 34-13, and Washington gets the ball back. They're on 4th down and 10, I believe. They can't do anything. Turnover on downs, Michigan football, and it's basically just a kneel down at that point. Michigan wins the national championship 2023. 34-13, a 21-point victory against the Washington Huskies, completing the 15-0 season. Absolutely incredible. An incredible season. It really is special. To not only win the Rose Bowl, to not only win the Rose Bowl against Alabama, but to win the national championship. and I just got the notification of that Evan Chino, and my friend Evan just uploaded his Michigan video. He beat me to it. But I wanted to take my time with this. The fact that we beat Ohio State for the third straight year, the fact that we won a Big Ten championship for a third straight year, the fact that we made the playoffs for the third straight year, the fact that we beat Alabama in the Rose Bowl, and the fact that we were not only that, but we were ranked number 1 in the country going into this national championship game where we were the favored team and ended up winning by 3 touchdowns is an absolutely incredible way to end the perfect 15-0 season. This is something I will tell my kids about. Guys, you have to understand, I've been a fan for 15 years. I'm 22. Basically, my whole life, I've been watching Michigan football, waiting for this day. I started this channel. I started talking about Michigan football on this channel back in 2018 or so. It's been a long time coming. And it's absolutely incredible. And I could not be prouder. I don't even know the stats for JJ. I know Blake Corum had 21 carries for 134 yards. He averaged 6.4 yards a carry, and he had 2 touchdowns on the ground. One of them being, or was it 2? Was it a rushing touchdown? Yeah, it would have been 2 rushing touchdowns. And 2 rushing touchdowns for Donovan Edwards. Michigan had 303 rushing yards in this game. Washington had 301 total yards. We had more rushing yards than they had total. That's kind of nuts. And considering how bad our offense was playing for a while, and we still had over 450, close to 450 total yards in this game, and beat them by almost 150 yards total, is kind of insane to me. But it was about big plays, really. I mean, we just had a few big plays, and, you know, we were able to string just enough together offensively on an offense that really did not play well. This was also, there's a lot of stats that came out of this. First of all, this is the most wins by a Big Ten team in a single season ever, breaking Ohio State's record from 2014 where they won 14. I mean, Michigan just keeps beating Ohio State at everything, don't they? I mean, Ohio State can't catch a break. Michigan's breaking their records. This was the first loss. This snapped a 21-game win streak for Washington. 21 game. That was, I think, before the conference title games, was the second longest win streak behind Georgia, who had 29, I think, before they lost to Bama. Washington had 21 going into this game, and I think now, obviously, Michigan's got the longest win streak in college football right now at 15. And it will remain that way until they lose a game next year. If they lose a game next year. I'm sure they will, but we're not going to talk about next year. I gotta buy me a hat, I gotta buy me a shirt, and I'm gonna wear my Michigan football drip proudly for the next 8-9 months, actually much longer than that. An incredible end of the year, 15-0. This is also, by the way, that 21-game win streak for Washington was, I think they said their last loss was October 8th, 2022 against Arizona State, which is nuts. They haven't lost a game since October 8th of 2022. Wow. That's crazy. But yeah, the game is over. The season's over. And I can proudly say that my Michigan Wolverines are national champions.